everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Dory, I am a teacher of English and I'm sorry for this late video, but I have been extremely busy this past week. You can see it in my hair, the hair of a crazy person. Anyway, today's video is being made in answer to a question I received here on YouTube. So I read the question from my phone. It would be great if you make a video on how to spell the alphabet, to write spelling with no mistakes, that is. Okay, first of all, not only for IELTS, but for pretty much everything, the best way to eliminate spelling mistakes is to learn as many words as possible and then write them down. Writing them down is absolutely essential because, you know, sometimes you think you know how a word is spelled out, but then when you go to actually write it down, you're not so sure anymore. So writing and practice really helps for that. So always practice new words through writing them down a few times, okay, just to be sure. Repetition is the mother of all learning. I keep saying that all over again because it is so true. Now, in IELTS listening, names, addresses, etc., all these words are going to be spelled out for you letter by letter. This means that you have to know very well how the English alphabet is pronounced, is heard, is spelled out. I'm using all three words in order for you to understand, okay? Spelling the alphabet is an issue not only for beginners but also for advanced learners of English. So, let's begin. First things first, the first letter of the alphabet, A. You can see that it is spelled out as A. However, in some words you may hear it as A. For example, in the name Jack, or in the word address, it is heard as A. But if they are going to spell it out for you, it will be J-A-C-K. A-D-D-R-E-S-S. Alright? But remember, A is A, just like the word eBay, for example. Alright? B. You can see the letter B. It is also spelled out as B, and in all the words it is heard that way. B, you know that, you know what I mean. I think that you're not going to have a problem with that. There's no confusion here. However, be careful when you hear words as come, lum. So in these cases, when B follows M, it loses its power, so it is not heard at all. However, you have to write it down. So it's lum, L-A-M-B, and it is comb, C-O-M-B. If you hear it, and they will probably not spell out a word like that, they usually spell names and addresses letter by letter. So if you hear lum, com, or anything like that, you have to know the word actually and write it down, write the B down, okay? So let's go on, let's move on to letter C. C, it is always spelled out as C, of course, I already said that, but it is not always heard that way. For example, in the word cake, right? You hear it as K in this word, for example. If you hear the word C's, then it is heard as C. But in the word cake, it's not that way. If they spell it out for you, it will be C-A-K-E, okay? D. Well, D is an easy letter because it is always heard as D, so it is going to be spelled out as D. However, be careful when you write it down because a lot of students tend to confuse the small d with the small b. This is a common mistake. So, one trick I can tell you in order to avoid that is to think of popular names. If you think of the word Adidas, for example, okay? We all know Adidas. So if you have the logo of the brand in your mind, you're not going to write down Abibas, okay? You remember as a picture the logo. So you will always know that D, it is written that way and not as the small b. Okay, is that clear? I hope this helps. Let's move on. E. I already spell each letter in order for us to move on, but you understand, right? So we have E, the letter E is spelled out as E, of course, but you can also hear it as E in words. For example, as egg, as in the word egg. It is heard as E, but it will be spelled out as E-double-G, okay? When we say eat, when we say the word eat, I would like something to eat, it is in this word it is heard as E, as it is spelled out, okay? But as you can see, this is not always the case with most letters. I mean, their spelling is not always how they are heard in different words. So the best way is to learn more vocabulary every day and know how it is written, if you write it down and do some practice. Right? Let's move on. F. Be careful with F. It seems easy because it is just the F, the foo sound, as in the word life, for example. But be careful with some words like physician, physical, physiology. These kind of words are not spelled with F, but with PH. You just have to know these words. Alright? Letter G. Letter G is a tricky one. First of all, it is spelled out as G. However, in some words, it is heard as G, for example, as in the word gun, legal, grapes, grammar, etc. But, of course, there are words in which it is heard as G, as for example legend or legitimate, okay? The only reason I'm saying this letter is a little bit tricky is because some students confuse it either with H or with J, okay? One trick, if you have this same problem, one trick I can tell you in order to avoid that is, if you remember the abbreviation OMG that we use very often, it is oh my god, OMG. This is the G letter, so if you have it in your mind as a picture, you cannot confuse it. Also, if you remember, American teenagers usually say, if you have heard in American movies, gee, I forgot that, which means God. So this may help you. G, God, OMG, oh my God. So if you have this picture of these words, you cannot confuse it when you hear it, spell it out as G. You cannot use H or J instead, okay? I hope this helps. I don't know. I may have confused you even more, but I hope not. Okay? Let's move on. Next letter, H. It is spelled out this way, H. However, you most probably never gonna hear it that way in words. Sometimes you may not hear it at all. As in the word though, you cannot hear it. You have to know how to write it down. Also, the same goes with the word air. You cannot hear H in this word. In other words, it is heard as in heard and head, height, and also after the letter C, you can hear it as the word channel. If you tend to confuse this letter with G or J, one thing I can tell you that may help is that if you remember the word hey, hey there, how it is written, hey. If you have the picture of the word hey, how it is written, then hey, hey there, hello, hey, and the spelling of the letter H, they're kind of common. So you write down the correct letter other than G or J or anything. I don't know, I hope this helps. Okay, let's move on. I, it is spelled out as I just did that. In some words it is heard as I, as in the word life, but in some words it is not heard that way. It is heard as E, for example, in the word living. Okay, this is all you need to know. J, another letter my students confuse. J, it is spelled out as J, it is heard in words more or less as J. This is the sound, okay? So some words, for example, just, juice, judge, judgment, etc. Alright? K. This is easy. It is spelled out as K, okay? The sound is K. You have to be very careful not to confuse it in some words in your spelling with C. You have to know the spelling in this case. There's no way to be able to know that. For example, the word cake has both, but you have to know how to write it down, which is which, right? And also another word, key. So this is an easy letter. You just have to know where to use it instead of C, right? Also, another thing you have to be careful of, when you hear words such as knee, knowledge, know, in these words K, if it is followed by N, it loses power. It is never heard at all, okay? That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So if you hear the words knowledge and you have to write it down, you have to write down K, N, O, and then the rest of the letter, okay? Just don't forget it because you don't hear it. L, the next letter, this is even easier. This is the only sound, so L is not going to cause you any confusion, I guess. I don't think you'll ever have a problem with the L. Some words, for example, are level, laughter, land, etc. M, letter M is spelled out as M. This is easy. It is heard as in the words manager, member, imagine. There's no confusion here. Okay, I hope this actually helped. All the letters of the alphabet are 26. Today we talked about the first half, the 13th, the first 13. I hope it was helpful for you. Next week we're going to talk about the other half. You know, sometimes you just have to learn more vocabulary and learn how to write it down correctly and spell it correctly, and just learn the alphabet, how it is pronounced, and just know words as you can, okay? There's no other way, I'm sorry. You just need to dedicate some time on that. And it also sometimes with experience, as you learn the language a little bit better, you can understand. Even if there is a word you don't know, you can more or less understand how it is spelled out, okay? And it is written down, okay? I hope I helped you and that I didn't confuse you even more. Until next time, that I'm going to upload part 2 of this video of the rest of the alphabet. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below in the comments section. Or also you can leave them on Facebook, Twitter and Google+. I have added all 3 links down below. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with it.